We will be starting at 1730, where the Industrial Revolution truly started. Unique in that no section of the country is more than 90 miles from the sea, and there are many available rivers that crisscross the countryside. An enterprising young capitalist, Yu, decides to invest money in the construction of a canal. This is not a public venture, but rather a private one. The profits from your canal are astonishing. For example, one canal built in 1745, the Oxford Canal, yielded a 300% annual return for its inventors for a period more than 30 years. This new revolution in transportation reduced the price of raw materials and reduced the cost of transportation dramatically. Coal could now be transported from the mines to the towns for half the price of a horse wagon transportation. Since you invested money, thereby making a tidy profit, you build one nice house anywhere on the map and construct a canal parallel to the river. It's now 1750, and for many reasons the population has greatly increased, so as you can tell I've added 5 houses. It is 1760, and I have added 5 houses and fenced off a commons, because the people of the village need more food and goods for inhabitants, and a number of the noteworthy events occurred first. New mechanical inventions for farming developed and everything, and farmers experience more with product farming. But here's the problem. Most farmers own one tract of land. Why should they, or how could they invest in expensive machines when their land is so small? It's now 1773, and the first water-powered factory has been made. So you can see that I've added a few of those to my map, but they must be near the river because they're powered by water. And I've also added 5 houses because the factories will need workers, and they need places to stay to work in the new factory. And since many women cannot compete with the spinning and weaving of cloth in the factory, that there are large numbers of poor families who have lost their livelihood in the Enclosure Acts, we have to do available supply of workers. People move to your village. So I've added 15 houses, 1 church, 1 pub, and a store. The profits from the first textile factory are enormous. It should be no surprise that Richard Arkwin is referred to 2 tiles. So I need to add 5 new factories. These factories need more workers, and the workers need a place to stay, so add 5 more houses. The year is 1780. Unemployed workers from surrounding areas flood your community looking for work. So, you need to add 5 more tenements. And these workers need a place to live, eat, shop, and drink, and worship. So add 1 store, 1 pub, 1 church, and 1 school. Those families that are wealthy enough to send their children to school. Okay. The year is 1785, and the first steam engine has been made. We need to add 10 factories with smoke, and we have to add smoke to all the pre-existing factories because they have been turned into steam factories. Also, there's been 1 nice house because of rich people, and 5 more houses and 1 tenement to apply for all those new workers. The year is 1800, and as you can tell, I've added 1 more coal mine and 1 new iron bridge to replace the old wooden one, and 5 more houses, because a man named Henry Court has just invented the puddling process. This process makes it possible for coal, which is an abundant supply in England, to be used as primary fuel to new iron industry. Consequently, your town is thrust into a new age of heavy industry. Larger factory districts appears which manufacture iron low prices that can easily be transported by you to a canal. The year is 1850. There's a great demand for coal right now. Home heating, fuel for system engines, and for production. So, as you can see, I've added 1 coal mine. Although the 1700s coal miners were adults, they have now become children. And because of that, the children are dying. So, as you can see, I've added another cemetery also. The year is 1820, and as you can see, I have added one major road rail line connecting all of my factories and my coal mines. This one continues track. I have also needed to build a few bridges to go over the water, and I have added 5 houses for the railroad builders, as you can tell, because I need more transportation. The year is 1827, and many, many, many people have come to your village, and they're willing to work at half the price. Oh no. So, this causes many people to be depressed, ashamed, and angry, and for the first time in history, alcoholism appears in epidemic proportions. So, I've added 1 jail, 2 pubs, and 2 tenements to accommodate for this. The year is 1840, and to provide the working conditions are awful. So as you can tell, I've added 2 hospitals and a cemetery to provide for injuries and everything. And also, I'm also needed to provide more transportation. So I have added 1 more railroad line going east to west and 5 houses and 1 tenement to provide for those railroad workers that gotta have houses. The year now is 1842, and as you can tell, I've added 1 theater, 1 museum, 2 private schools for the upper class students, and a nice house. There are some advantages to urban dwellers for the small growing class, middle class, and new life. Everything is more, and now there's more plays and concerts and everything. So, yeah. The year is 1845, and the pollution is getting so bad that the air is thick and dark, and the average life expectancy is only 30 years old. Your city is overcrowded and shrouded in factory smoke. As you can tell, my city really is. The noises, loss of privacy, and loss of family unit shatters the peace of the old ways. Suicide rates double, then triple. So as you can tell, I've added a cemetery, a jail, and a hospital to accommodate for all the victims of urban life. The year is 1850, and by this year, several million acres of good English land has been enclosed and sold to private parties who own large estimates. So, these farmers purchased the newest power-driven machinery that they can easily feed the working class of England, including the Irish. The small landowners are crushed by the enclosed economics. You cannot afford the machinery. Thousands of these folks are leaving the village and moved to towns and cities looking for work for their families. So, as you can tell, I've added 20 houses and 5 tenements to add for this. 2 stores, 1 church, 5 factories, 1 pub, and 2 more nice houses and 1 special house to accommodate for the Industrial Revolution. As you can tell, the Industrial Revolution was not a great time to be living in, but it has changed our world greatly today, and I'm very glad that it happened.